This 1983 Suzuki GS650L sat in someone's garage for years before I bought it for $600 and got it back on the road. In this video, I'll show you what it took to do that and how you could do it too. The first step in diagnosing the problem with this motorcycle is to throw a battery in it and see if it'll crank over. I stole this battery from my other motorcycle just for testing purposes. Okay, let's see if it'll even turn on. Alright, we got some lights, that's good. Let's see if the headlight works. Yep, that's working. Now let's see if this will crank over. Nothing. So something's up. Maybe I need to pull the clutch in when I'm starting it. Let's see if that works. Oh, that's the trick right there. On this motorcycle, even if it's in neutral, which you can tell by that green light, you have to pull the clutch in for it to crank over. Now I'm going to take one of these spark plugs out to check for spark. Once you pull the spark plug out, touch it to the engine like this, and then you're looking right there while cranking to see if it's sparking. Did it shock you?
Shocked me.
Well, that means it has spark. Good job.
Yeah, you can see it on the...
Alright, now that I confirmed the ignition system works, I'm going to move on to the fuel system. The first thing to look at is the gas tank. And as you can see, there's a little bit of rust on the surface in there. And if you look down in there, you can see some yellow fuel. Just for fun, I'm going to turn the choke on and see if this will run just the way it is. Nothing. I guess it needs some work before it'll start. To get this bike back on the road, I've got to take the carburetors off and clean them. That's these guys right here. To do that, I'll take the seat off, then the gas tank off, the air box off, and then I should be able to pull these out after disconnecting the throttle cables in there. I've got it mostly apart now. Took the seat off, the gas tank off, got into the air box, found this dirty old filter. Probably has never been changed, so I have to find a replacement for that. I'm trying to get this air box off, but I don't know how to take that out of there, so I think I'm just gonna have to squeeze the carbs out of the side of the motorcycle. Okay, I just wrestled with these carbs for 15 minutes to pull them out of these old, hard intake boots. I had to use oil to lubricate and then pull on them very hard to get them out. But now they're out. And if I tilt them like that, I should be able to pull them out the bike this way. Alright, I got into the carburetors, and they are a lot cleaner than I expected. But as you can see, all three of these had gas in them. This one is completely dry, so maybe something's wrong with this needle valve here, restricting the flow of gas. So I'll take the jets out and the floats and the needle valves and see if anything is clogged up. Okay, I got the carb completely disassembled, each and every one, all their parts next to the bowls over here. Now I'm going to take this carb cleaner and spray it through each of the jets to make sure they're clear. You take the little jet and you look down through it to see if you can see light. If you don't see anything, that means it's clogged, just like this one is clogged. So you take your carb cleaner and you spray it right through the hole. Then you blow on it. And keep repeating until you can see through the little hole in the jet. Alright, this is important. I got all the jets clean, but I still want to spray the carb cleaner in these holes to make sure there's nothing in there clogging it up. But these rubber gaskets will be damaged by carb cleaner like this. So you got to be very careful not to get those too wet with the carb cleaner. Another thing to mention is these slides were all stuck, so I gently pushed them up like this and broke them free. If those are stuck, you're not going to be going very fast. Gotta spray through these holes as well, just like so. Here's something I noticed that is out of the ordinary. You see this little tab? On these two, they're folded up. And this adjusts the float height, which in turn adjusts the fuel level. On these two, I've got one right here, the tab is pointed down a little bit. They should all be the same. So what I'm going to do is look up the proper float height on this motorcycle and make sure these are all within the right parameters. That way I know everything is how it should be. I looked up the measurement online and it is about 22.5 millimeters. And when measuring these floats, the ones with the bent down tabs are far closer to the right measurement than these ones are. See the gap? Those are way off. So I'm going to change these tabs to be like these tabs. So now that should be all good. I'm going to put the carbs back together and then start putting them back on the motorcycle. I got the carbs back in the bike, which was much easier than getting them off. And as you can see, I put an inline fuel filter to protect the carbs from any gunk that may be in the gas tank still. That means I also put on a new fuel line as well, just to make sure there are no leaks. Now I have it set to prime, and it filled up the carbs, and there are no leaks. So that is good news. This bike is ready to run. All right, finished all the work. Let's see if this paid off. Got the choke on. There we go. All right, I think I've done enough wrenching on this thing, and I'm gonna take it for a test drive and see if it even works. It's always the most exciting part for me. It's the first ride. Let's see how long it takes to fire this thing up. It's completely cold. Turn the choke all the way on, being gentle not to snap this little cable. It's got a brand new battery. Alright, let's hear the thunder. Okay. Hey, that's not bad at all. This thing wants to be ridden. I don't see anything leaking. I think it's good to go. And we're off. Brakes work. All right. She does move. Hearing some kind of interesting noises. It's kind of squealing. Don't know why it's squealing. You hear that? Not sure where that's coming from. But engine runs really good so far. The forks are totally blown. The rear suspension feels like a pogo stick. But overall, this thing runs pretty good. Oh, you can feel every bump. Oh, let's go, baby. I have no idea how fast that was. That's pretty good. That probably cleaned out some cobwebs from the engine. This thing's fun. Just needs a little bit more TLC, and this would be a good cruiser. Alright guys, I'm pretty much completely finished working on this motorcycle. I think it's good enough to ride daily, take it to work, do whatever you want with now. I was able to get this bike from sitting in a garage for years to on the road in a single day. That did not involve me fixing every single problem with it though. It took me ordering some parts and finding different problems with it over the course of a few weeks to get it completely dialed. One of the issues I found that was really a big problem was the front forks were actually both bent. I'll show you a picture of that. You can see with a straight edge that it is quite bent, and that's why the front forks were not working how they should. So I had to order some new forks used off eBay. They were only about 100 bucks, and that fixed that problem completely. I fixed both the gauges. The RPM gauge is not whining anymore, so that fixed itself. I put some new Vans grips on this, nice and comfy. And I did some little stuff like change the spark plugs, change the oil, and now she's good to go. So just like that, I took a motorcycle I got for $600 and I turned it into a very fun cruiser motorcycle to ride any day you want, all day if you want. Should be super reliable at this point. In total, I've put $1,000 into this motorcycle, and then $200 more for registration. She's got some pep. Thanks to those who watched this video till the end. I hope you learned something about working on motorcycles, and if you want to learn more, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll keep buying new projects and each one will have different problems to solve. I'll post a review video of this motorcycle soon, talking more about what it's like to ride and how I compare it to other motorcycles I have ridden. So stay tuned for that, and thanks again for watching. See ya!